Live on your side. Live at 5 starts with breaking news.
And major breaking news, several stories at this hour involving traffic and big arrests. Let's start with Birmingham police wrapping up that news conference in the last hour, announcing multiple arrests and multiple homicides, including, of course, an arrest in that mass shooting in Birmingham's 5 Points South area.
Damian McDaniel is facing charges in that shooting. He is also charged in connection with a homicide on 9th Street North 2 days before that mass shooting. Larry Rollins, Naquan Lawler, and DeMarco Beck, along with McDaniel, are facing charges in another homicide that day after the mass shooting on 81st Place South.
Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman says in the last hour that promising justice in these cases and safety across the Magic City is their top priority.
Birmingham Police Department, and as I said, our law enforcement partners are going to continue to work hard every day to ensure the safety of our citizens, our visitors, and then we're going to hold those accountable for committing these types of crimes.
Just in the last 5 minutes, we got this statement from Birmingham Mayor Wed Woodford, who says, in part, after the horrific shooting at 5 Points South, we vow that our priority would be to find, capture, and arrest every person responsible for this heinous and brazen mass shooting. We told you this is what we do, and this is what we did. Today was a major step toward justice. We have team coverage of this breaking news this hour with your reporters Tristan Rupert and Bria Chapman, both live at 5, learning much more about these suspects.
Let's start with you, Tristan Rupert, and the newest information from that news conference today.
Sarah, Jonathan, Birmingham police now revealing the identity of a man they believe to be responsible for that 5 Points South mass shooting that really captivated much of central Alabama over the last few weeks. They believe it to be Damian McDaniel. He's now facing 4 charges of capital murder and 17 charges of attempted murder for his alleged involvement in what took place in 5 Points South that evening. Now, McDaniel is facing several other charges at this time, as well as several others that are facing charges for the various homicides. Our Bria Chapman, though, going to have much more detail on those charges. Now, again, there's still a lot of questions right now, even with this press conference. We asked Chief Thurman if he could reveal anything about a motive for some of these potential crimes, if he could reveal if perhaps a altered firearm or Glock switch was used. He's keeping a lot of that information close to their vest as they're working to build the cases against these suspects, including McDaniel. But he didn't hesitate to stress just how big a deal this is for the Magic City.
Well, it's tremendous. I mean, we've got six people who lost their life, not to mention 17 people who were injured in the mass shooting in 5 Points South Entertainment District. It's tremendous for our community, for our city, for our business owners, for our law enforcement. I mean, the number of hours that have been put into this investigation is astronomical.
Now, at this time, we still don't know if they're still searching for other suspects in some of these shootings, but of course, we're going to keep asking questions and work to get you the latest information. Your reporter in Birmingham, Tristan Rupert, Wbrc 6 News, on your side.
As Tristan just told you, we're on top of this for you with team coverage. Let's go to Bria Chapman.
Yeah, Bria live at 5 now with a closer look at one of the suspects here, Larry Rollins. Bria.
Yes, that is right, Jonathan. So Larry Rollins is actually accused of being one of 4 people, along with Damian McDaniel, accused of killing Jamarcus McIntyre. And I'm going to backtrack here to explain how all this is kind of connected. So Damian McDaniel is the one that Tristan just mentioned. He is accused of being involved in being the shooter in that mass shooting, but that was not all. Earlier in the week, McDaniel was accused of killing a woman at 604 Lounge. That happened just days before that shooting in 5 Points South. Then after the mass shooting at 5 Points South that Sunday, he is, like I mentioned, one of the 4 people accused of killing Jamarcus McIntyre on 81st Place South. Now, he is one of 4, including the 3 other suspects, Naquan Lawler, DeMarco Beck, and just like Jonathan mentioned, Larry Rollins. Now, Rollins is being held right now for capital murder, but he was actually charged for a homicide back in 2021 for the death of Eric Sledge. Now, that homicide happened outside of 3000 Bar in 5 Points South again. Now, something to mention in this case, in that situation, firefighter Jordan Melton was one of the key witnesses in that case. Now, Melton unfortunately passed away that July. Rollins is not linked to that case, but we do know that he was acquitted for the murder of Eric Sledge earlier this year, back in April. Now, one thing that Chief Thurman did mention that was key in this case, getting these suspects off the street, was all of the community participating in sending in tips. They got over 300 tips, something he said he's never seen in all the years that he's been with the force.
Little bits of information that came from various tips, and so there's just a lot of things that really assisted in putting this investigation together. The tips were critical. We applaud the community for coming forward. We've never had that many tips in any case before, so I have to, hats off to the community for sharing that information with us and being willing to share that information with us.
Now, we did ask Chief Thurman if these cases are connected in any way. Do they believe there are more shooters out there? Those were details that he was unable to give us, but we do know right now all 4 suspects are being held in the Jefferson County Jail with no bond. Your reporter live in Birmingham, I'm Bria Chapman, WBRC 6 News on your side.
And we will keep you updated on this breaking news on air and on the WBRC News app, a story that our sources say has many more developments yet to unfold. Scan the QR code on your screen right now to stay with us on that coverage. Now more breaking traffic affecting a lot of you. Here's Jen Horton. Jen.
Right, this is your first alert for a major traffic issue we're following that's impacting major highways and interstates around Birmingham. I-459's been shut down in both directions for 2 hours. Some of those lanes are slowly starting to open. This is what we know what happened. 10 vehicles are involved. An 18-wheeler was in a wreck with several cars in the southbound lanes, crossed over the median and hit another 18-wheeler in the northbound lanes. One of those major issues, diesel was leaked in the northbound lanes, and Hazmat is working to clean that up. There is no timeline to get this all cleaned up and how long those cars might be sitting out there on 459. Your first alert traffic reporter Caroline Mitchell is live now to show us how to get around all this. Caroline.
Thank you, Jen. Yes, we're looking live right now at the I-459 major crash. So southbound lanes is at least one lane going to be open. I mean, look at this, an absolute mess. Here's where it's located on the map. I-459 northbound still completely shut down, seeing about 7 miles of delays for those of you traveling southbound. So want to watch out for that. I have adjusted the detour. Now, it is now backed up past Highway 31. So if you're traveling up on 459, I would recommend getting off John Hawkins Parkway. Take that to Highway 31, Caldwell Mill Road to Acton Road. Should be able to get you around this, but of course going to see major delays in that area. Now, zooming out wider though, everything else really, I mean, we're seeing a lot of delays all over the map. Did have a crash on 459 or on 280 westbound, has cleared, but still seeing some delays there. I'm Caroline Mitchell with your First Alert Traffic.
Caroline, thanks. As if that wasn't enough breaking news, we now have a First Alert weather day on your doorstep in the next 12 hours.
Our Chief Meteorologist, Wes Wyatt, tracking all of this for us. How cold is it going to get and how soon?
Well, it could be as cold as freezing across the northern part of our area tomorrow morning. So a first alert for a big drop in temperatures. We have declared a first alert weather day tomorrow morning from 1 o'clock until 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking we could see widespread frost development. So make sure if you didn't do so last night, you'll certainly want to protect any warm weather plants you have, sensitive plants, because it is going to be cold. The National Weather Service has issued frost advisories. We're seeing more of those now stretching as far south as Talladega and Clay counties, Jefferson County and Birmingham included, but even for Tuscaloosa Point South, I would play it safe. And of course, make sure the pets have a warm, cozy spot tonight. It's going to be cold out there. Yeah, it's time to crank up the heat with low 30s. We had some 30s to start the day, but with it being calmer tonight, we'll go even colder for those temperatures tomorrow morning. But we will have a rebound in temperatures on the way. Will we see any wet weather anytime soon? We'll talk about it in weather every 6 minutes.
All right, Wes, developing more news live at 5. We're trying to get you more information about the man and 2 kids shot here last night about 8 o'clock while riding in their vehicle here on 3rd Avenue West. One child has life-threatening injuries, being treated right now by the folks at Children's Hospital. The other child and the man in the vehicle are expected to survive. Both of these kids under the age of 10. Police say they don't have anybody in custody and haven't confirmed whether this was a targeted shooting, but do tell us it likely wasn't random. New Life at 5, a 19-year-old now facing charges in a deadly shooting in the Collegeville community last month. That's Darian Vincent, who faces capital murder charges in the killing of Chuck Wallace. The 33-year-old was shot and killed on 32nd Avenue North back in September. Vincent's in jail tonight on no bond.
Well, new Live at 5, more help for a West Alabama water system. Governor Kay Ivey announcing a $500,000 for the Oakman water system last January. The system had an emergency causing more than half of the customers to lose water for days. You remember this. Well, this money will help increase the size of Oakman's main water line. Back in June, the water system got millions to help improve the infrastructure there.
New Live at 5, an update on 2 firefighters hurt in this bad wreck in Blount County.
Plus, lawmakers demanding answers on a listeria outbreak affecting some deli meats. A look at the questions they're asking now.
And a potential increase to your car tag fees in Pickens County. How that money could be used. Wes?
Yeah, you can feel that cold weather out there today. Only 62 at this hour in many areas, and a frost advisory tomorrow morning. We'll break that down for you next in Weather Every 6 Minutes.
New Live at 5, Rainbow City's police department tonight is looking for the thieves who stole a kayak and canoe launcher from Rainbow Landing. And get this, it was a brand new launcher just hours away from being revealed in a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Your East Alabama reporter Reggie Kyle joining us live at 5 with more on this investigation. What did they find out?
Sarah, Dave Tomlin with the Neely Henry Lake Association says his community deserves better than this.
If you see somebody out there with a jury-rigged canoe kayak launch, please call 911.
After receiving a grant from the Alabama Scenic River Trail organization, the Neely Henry Lake Association decided to purchase and install the first ever public kayak and canoe launcher on Neely Henry Lake.
We got everything installed. We replaced some new decking on the dock. And a couple of weeks ago, we got the installation complete, all ready for the ribbon cutting.
With state and city officials ready to attend, that ceremony never happened. Dave Tomlin says while in his pontoon boat Sunday evening, he noticed the kayak launcher was missing.
And lo and behold, when I looked over where the boat launch or the kayak launch was, there was nothing there. I came in closer and sure enough, it was gone. Somebody had stolen our kayak and canoe launch right off the end of the dock. It was devastating. We can't believe it.
Dave Tomlin says his family has been a part of the Neely Henry Lake community since 1968, and he's watched the community grow into something special. A minor setback, he says he won't stop until he has his ribbon ceremony.
Hopefully we might be able to retrieve the launch. If not, we're going to reapply for grants all over again, and we're going to put another one in.
Now, this case is still under investigation. If you have any information, please contact the Rainbow City Police Department or Central Alabama Crime Stoppers. You will remain anonymous. Your reporter in Rainbow City, I'm Reggie Kyle with WBRC 6 News on your side.
All right, it's chilly out there, and we have declared first alert weather days for light freeze and frost for parts of the area tomorrow morning. So plan to protect those plants. If you didn't do so last night, make sure they are covered, protected for frost tomorrow morning. A full supermoon tonight. We'll have a clear sky overhead, and the temperatures dropping off quickly. Notice by 10 o'clock, we're down to 47 degrees. After midnight, low 40s, and we'll wake up with temperatures as low as 32, 33 degrees across far northern areas early tomorrow morning. Certainly one of the coldest mornings we've seen in quite some time. It was chilly out there today, but we will see those afternoon temperatures make a big improvement going into next week. And will we see any wet weather? I'll have the 10-day forecast next.
USDA is facing pressure today on Capitol Hill all over that big listeria outbreak at a Boar's Head facility that killed 10 people. Congress is investigating the agency over how they were handling dozens of reports detailing serious problems, including mold and insects at that deli plant in Virginia. The Department of Agriculture has announced an internal investigation into why those reports weren't handled before people got sick.
These deaths, injuries, sicknesses were fully preventable. They were the result of unsanitary, unsafe conditions that involved repeated violations.
Lawmakers also pushing the Department of Justice to file criminal charges against Boar's Head. New Live at 5, what you should expect with the program coming back to Shelby County, trying to help victims of domestic violence.
Well, another dry day, but chilly across the area. Right now, we're showing 61 at Centerville on our first alert sky vision. Look at Coleman, 57. It's been a struggle for some of these areas to the north to break out of the 50s today. Certainly not just cold mornings, one of the colder days that we've seen in quite a while. But tomorrow morning out the door, this is why we have declared a first alert weather day for one of the first big cold snaps here as we start to see that growing season slowly come to a close. You'll notice to the north around Coleman, 32 degrees. Early tomorrow morning here around Jasper, places like Carbon Hill and Cordova. Early in the morning, Curry areas. Make sure you have the plants protected, even for the Birmingham area, point south. We're still going to see some of those 30s, those low-lying areas. And you get outside the city there, a good chance that we will see those temperatures during the early morning hours in the range where we could see some frost. But tomorrow afternoon, not as chilly. Temperatures do rebound back into the 60s. Still a cooler day, but an improvement. We'll have mostly sunny weather. Those afternoon temperatures will gradually improve over the next couple days. So next 24 hours, very dry conditions. It's mainly a temperature forecast that we're talking about here for the next 24 to 48 hours. And the wind tomorrow out of the northeast at about 4 to 8 miles per hour. With it being so dry, these low humidities, and also this breeze, we've got some dangerous fire weather conditions. I would play it safe, avoid burning any brush piles, any leaf piles until we get some wet weather around here. And it looks very dry, very crispy over the next several days here. Tropical update, we have still a couple of waves that we're watching out over the Atlantic. Hardly any change today. We have what may become Tropical Storm Nadine, but still no data shows this entering or nearing the Gulf region. So at this point, I'm not concerned about a threat, something we'll continue to monitor over the next couple of days. But we have some incredible weather. I know we need some rain, but we really have some nice fall weather on the way. All the events coming up. We've got the Kentuck Festival happening in Tuscaloosa out at Snow Hinton Park this weekend. Weather should be absolutely perfect out there with temperatures in the 70s for the afternoon highs. If you're heading to the Fall Festival in Gadsden this weekend, you can see by lunchtime that runs from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock. The temperatures there will be in the 60s, but a mostly sunny sky for us here in East Alabama. Now, we're still going to have the chilly mornings as we go to the 10-day forecast. You can see 45 there early Saturday, 46 around Sunday morning. So it's jacket weather to start the day, but then we're having to watch that thermostat. Those afternoons a bit warmer, and into next week looks like we're going to have highs back into the 80s there during the afternoon. So it's a pot of chilly weather here over the next few days. And I'll be back with updates from our weather watchers and an update on the kickoff forecast for the weekend coming up.
All right, Wes, right now live at 5, 2 firefighters recovering from a bad accident in Blount County. Let's show you some pictures, these new pictures from Summit Fire and Rescue. Look at that. The truck is completely flipped over and upside down. The department officials say one of the folks involved, a firefighter, has pretty bad injuries in this case and will take some time to heal. The other is pretty beat up. They're not sure what caused the wreck.
For new Live at 5, more resources and support for domestic violence victims in Shelby County. That includes the return of the domestic violence court, which paused during the pandemic. The county leaders say it's becoming an epidemic, with the sheriff's department responding to more than, listen to this, 700 domestic violence calls just last year. The one-year court program aims to break the cycle of abuse and ensure families safety by providing education, housing, and job training for victims. It is also designed to work on changing the behavior of the defendants, teaching them how to operate and live in healthy relationships by addressing mental health and substance abuse.
And it's somewhat of an accountability court where we're making sure they're on the right track, and we're making sure that they're taking the educational component classes on healthy relationships. And we're also ensuring that they're not reoffending or even committing other crimes as well.
The court's first docket is November 8th. We have more information for you on the program on the WBRC News app.
New Live at 5, why you could be paying more for your car tag soon in Pickens County.
Also, we're hearing from the Auburn women's basketball team as SEC Media Days comes to a close in Mountain Brook.
And colder air is sticking around tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt is tracking that for you.
New Live at 5, the SEC Basketball Media Days wrapping up in Mountain Brook at the Grand Bohemian Hotel. Today, we heard from all 16 of the women's teams across the conference. Your sports reporter, Jonathan Hoppy, left the hotel. He's in studio now for the first up, Auburn Tigers.
Hey, good afternoon, Sarah. Yeah, it was a great 2 days at that Grand Bohemian. The Auburn women's basketball team coming off their first trip to the tournament in 5 years. Now, the Tigers say they're looking to get back this year and then make some noise in the tournament. Head coach Johnny Harris, in her 4th season on the Plains, she now has a team that believes. Remember, Auburn knocked off LSU last season. Yes, LSU, it was an epic win for them. So that upset has really built some momentum for the program, and the Tigers seem to be gaining respect around the conference. This has been a rebuild for Harris and the team, but this year there are expectations for the first time in a while.
You know, I feel like we're getting there. You know, as a coach, you always want more. But I do feel like we're getting there. We have to continue to recruit.
We kind of just got a little taste of it last year, and so now it's giving everybody else something to strive for this year to go even further. And so especially with the exciting new pieces that we've added, we just want to get that look for everybody.
And now as Auburn looks to keep on improving, remember this, the Tigers haven't made it through that first weekend of the NCAA tournament since 1996. Stay tuned. We'll hear from the Crimson Tide tonight at 6.